Maseches b'vekame daf samech daled amud beis. I think that's where we are, no? Samech daled amud beis. No, samech hey, excuse me. Samech hey amud aleph in the bottom of the page. Thank you. Samech hey amud aleph in the bottom of the page. Leilu nishmas Avimelech Menachem ben Akiva, leilu nishmas Ros bas Sholem, leilu nishmas Soma bas Moshe. And this shiur, yes, Avram leilu nishmas Avram Yechiel ben Yitzchak Mendel Cohen, lerefuas Noach Lionel ben Yuli Oria, and besach shor Chalei Yisrael leilu nishmas Mordechai ben Yaakov Cohen. Okay, so. We said yesterday that according to Rav, we have a concept of the person paying, the Ganav has to pay the Keren, the basic payment that he has to return. He has to pay according to the time of Gneva. The time it was stolen, that's how you decide the price of how much the Ganav has to pay. So at the beginning, we thought whether it went up or down doesn't make a difference. Yeah, you have to pay like the original. Why? Because the Torah said, well, if it happened by Gneva and Chaim, right? Which means you have to bring it back to life the same way it was when it was stolen, Bisman HaGneva. Now, then we had another factor, and that was what happened if the person on purpose broke the barrel, or let's say he sold it, or let's say he drank it on purpose. So Rashi says, and by the way, this chart is based on the words of the Sma Sefer, the Mil Sinaim, one of the Meforshim of Shulchan Aruch. I saw the Shulchan Aruch yesterday, and basically he says the following: if the person broke the chovis, that's called the time of theft, because when the chovis was still there, the barrel, the keg was still there in the house of the Ganav, well, that's returnable, that's revocable. You can bring it back. Once you broke it, the breaking is not just damage, it's not just nezikin. It's also considered to be the gneva. That's the final, makim bepatish. That's a point of no return. Now you have to bring back money, not the item itself. You can't be mekayim the heishuv exela shagozal anymore. So let's look at the chart. Let's say the value at the time of a theft was 4, then it became 2. And how did it happen? By accident. By accident, the what's its name? The barrel broke. So now how much do you have to pay? 4. Why 4? Well, clearly, because at the time of theft, it was worth 4. Gneva and Chaim tell me that you have to pay like it was in the time of the Gneva. So even if it broke, obviously, if it didn't break Bechlal, then of course you have to pay 4. I mean, okay, you return the actual object, but you have to compensate and give 4, not just 2. But even though it broke by accident, that's not called Gneva. If it broke by accident, it's Chayev, an oinsim. But it's not called that's the moment of theft, because that's not because of his involvement. And therefore, that's a regular rule. It was 4, became 2. You go back to 4 because Gneva and Chaim, the time of Gneva is the time that's when you relate to it. What happens again? This is all Shulchan Aruch, what I'm telling you. Shulchan Aruch, I just charted out the Shulchan Aruch and the Meforshim. What happens the second case? 4-2, and it happened on purpose. It was 4, then became 2. Then he broke it on purpose. Oh, that is actually not so simple. Why? Because really, as you see in the text box over here, the real theft took place when he broke it. So he should have paid 2. Because when he broke it, it was worth 2. And he broke it, and that's considered real stealing when he broke it, and now there's no way of returning it. However, says the Sma, and that's a chiddush which we don't see in the Gemara, we always apply the rule of lo yetze choite niskar. The sinner should not gain. A sinner, choite, should not gain and say, now I broke it and it's considered that now is the real time of Gneva, so maybe I should pay 2. No, that we don't say anymore. We don't say if you stole it and then you broke it, yeah, you're kilo abusing halacha, then we say, no, you still have to pay the original of 4. That's the chiddush. Now, the other 2 cases are, what happens if it went up in price? Yeah.
It was worth 4. He drank it or he broke it.
After it was 2. He went down to 2, then he drank or broke when it was 2, right? On purpose. So one would say, maybe when he broke it, you know what? We'll see till the end of the chart and then we'll get it better.
Doesn't matter, right? You were responsible. You stole it. Now it's in your shoes. It doesn't matter whether or not
No, of course, you're chayiv. The question is how much. How much are you chayiv? A ganav is chayiv not because of shomer sachar. Ganav is chayiv. He has chiyuvei ganav to even beoinsin. He's more than a shoyel, not a shomer sachar. He's like a shoyel, so he's chayiv on oinsin. Question is how much. That's a discussion here. You'll get it better after the fourth line. Third line, yeah. What happens if it was worth 2, then went up to price to be 4, and then he broke by accident? Then he's benefiting from Gneva and Chaim. You know the couple, Chaim and Gneva, they help him. It was worth 2, now it's worth 4, and he was broke by accident. He didn't do it. So the only time of Gneva is 2. He didn't break it afterwards. He was just, the cat jumped all over it, the neighbor's cat, which I hate, not mine. So now it was 2 before the time of Gneva. We must say that he has to pay only 2. Why? Accidental breaking is not theft. Yeah, true. So how much does he have to pay? Like when he really stole it. When he stole it, it was worth 2. He has to pay 2. Fourth case, and then you'll also understand the second case better. What happened if it was? What would have happened if it was worth 2? Went up to 4. Yeah, that was the chiddush actually of Rabbah that Rav did agree to yesterday. It was a collaboration of Rabbah and Rav. It was worth 2, then became 4, and then he broke it on purpose. He drank it. He was mishtarish bechet, as we say. He became worse. So his Yetzer Hara is playing games with him. Now he drank the chavis that's worth twice as much. Now he has to pay how much? 4. Why? But the time of the Gneva was worth 2. Now we come and we apply what Rashi says, actually, and Sma says, they both say the same thing. The real Gneva really was when he broke it. Because it's true that when he took it from someone's house, it's Ganav, Kinyon, Gneva, Mashiach, all true. However, there's still a point of return, a gray area. It's in the Ganav's house, but it's not completely his. Why? There's Veheshiv. There's still Veheshiv. The Torah's commandment is screaming over Veheshiv, 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 Veheshiv. Now you broke it or drank it. You lost it. You lost your marbles, you lost your wine, and you lost your chance to return the actual object. That's called the real Gneva. Now, yeah, of course, you'll have to pay cash or credit card or become a slave. But Lamaisa, you can't really give back the object. That's called the real time of theft. And Rav agrees to that. And that's why, even though Rav is the big supporter of the idea of paying like the time of the Gneva, he says you don't pay 2 like when you stole it 2 months ago. You have to pay 4 like it is now. Why? Because now was the real time of theft. Now, Moshe, let me turn to the second case. Now comes the second case. I'm scrolling up by me. Go back to case number 2. When it's 4, then 2, then on purpose. Now you'll understand what 4 and 2 means. It was worth 4. Then he broke it when it was worth 2. It was 4. 2 months ago, the wine was worth 400 shekels, whatever. Now it's worth 2, okay? And now he broke it on purpose or drank it. Market. Yeah, nothing to do with him. Market value went down. The wine price went down. We're not talking about his involvement. That we already established yesterday. So now he drank it after it was worth 2. I would say, wait a second, let him pay 2. Why? Because really there are 2 times of theft. There's the original theft, and there's the theft when he actually broke or drank, the point of no return. So maybe you should follow the current situation, the current value, and say it should pay 2. Like the same idea as we said later on. Here comes the Sma with the Chiddush, which we didn't see in the Gemara, and I saw it in the Sma, maybe Rishonim bring it as well, I don't know. He says, we don't want the sinners to gain from the situation to sort of trick the system and say, wait, there are 2 times of theft over here. You said the real theft is when I drank it, and then it was worth 2, I'll pay 2. That we don't say. Why? Because we don't want him to gain from the situation, and we place the Gneva time, we put the limelight of Gneva time, the box of Gneva time, on the original Gneva, when it was worth 4, when he originally took it to someone's house 2 months ago, and then we say he has to pay 4. That's a cool thing which I discovered yesterday from the Sma. And that's a summary of Rav. By the way, we are consistently ignoring here kefel and arba v'chamisha. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because this is taken from Shulchan Aruch. This is the way I charted out the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch usually doesn't talk about kefel or arba v'chamisha, as opposed to the Rambam who does. Why doesn't Shulchan Aruch talk about double? Because Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about korbanos either. Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about everything, as opposed to the Rambam. Shulchan Aruch only talks about things that were negel halacha in his times and unfortunately our times. Since today we don't have Beis Din Smuchim, The level of Beis Din in the web is not as high as the Beis Din that they had back then, and therefore we don't have din knosos. We don't have the din of paying knas. Beis Din cannot obligate a person today to pay double, because that's today. That's all story. We spoke about it in the past. Ain't donim din knosos, the bovel, and today's like bovel, and that's about it. Yeah. So that's a summary of Rav. What would you say? 1 second. What would you say about kefel? We know what to say about kefel. Kefel, according to Rav, unless there's a personal involvement, which there isn't, there's no investment on the side of the ganav or deterioration. Usually, when things are just market value, then the ganav has to pay double the way it is now. Why? Because the chiddush gneva and chaim are only about the actual gneva of the keren. The kefel you have to pay like the current situation. Usually, that's besides the point. That's out of our chart. Chart attack. Go ahead. Welcome, Baruch. Yes, I'm listening. Oh
One
wow.
I can understand was worth for a depreciated
Right.
there was an accident with an and he's got to pay the original value for.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay,
The
good.
rest of them I don't understand.
Let me just repeat. Okay, I'll repeat. So
I
again,
heard you, but I didn't say it.
I'll try again. Okay, that's a good. I like these questions more than any other questions. Really, no. Just to try and understand again. Again, we have to understand the concepts and think, excuse upon, out of the box. Yeah, it's over here. Yeah. Yeah. Again, concept number one, usually you have to pay for the theft itself, like the time of the gneva. Good? Okay. Concept number two, when is gneva? Define gneva. Maybe gneva, not maybe. Gneva is really, sometimes it's a twofold stage. He stole it 2 months ago, and now he actually drank it. When he actually drank it or broke it or not stole it or sold it on to an Arab in the Shtachim, he'll never see it again. Yeah, whatever he did, he got it to a point of no return. It's also time of stealing. Yeah, in a way, more crucial time of stealing, right? And hence number four. If it was worth, if it was worth 2, and now it's worth 4. The last case is what I'm talking about now. That's very easy to understand. It was worth 2, went up in price. Now it's worth 4, and he broke it or drank it, did something vicious, which is called gneva. Now he has to pay 4. Why? Time of gneva. Yes, this is time of gneva. The time of gneva is when he broke it, and if it's worth more, you have to pay 4. That's very easy to understand. Case number 2. I'm jumping back to the second row. I think, yeah. Now, case number 2, when there was depreciation again, it was worth 4, yeah, and then it was worth 2, went down in price, and on purpose you drank it when it was worth 2. No, so maybe pay 2. Didn't I just tell you that the real time of gneva is when he drinks it, when he breaks it, when he smashes it and pulverizes it? Maybe that's, let him pay 2. Here we say no. Here's the chiddush of the Sma, or maybe before him. I saw it in the Sma, in the one of the Notes Kelim the Shulchan Aruch. He says no, lo yeh choyte niskal, which I translate into English. The sinner should not gain, should not benefit from the situation. In other words, it's true that he should have paid 2, but Lamaisa no, because he is now drinking and drink and drive. Don't steal and drink. He stole and then he drank. He stole and then he broke. He did twice over. We allege it to the original time of theft, which was more expensive, because out of the 2 times, we prefer taking the more expensive one, because the guy's a Rosha, the guy is a Choyte. We don't want him to gain. Now, case number 3 is easy. Case number 3 is when he really gains. Why? Because it was worth 2. Then it became 4. Then by accident it broke. So really, this is a nice guy. He's half nice. He stole, but then by accident it broke. He really wanted to give it back. It was him by 2 months, and he really intended, or halacha intended, it should be back by the owner. It broke by accident. So there's only one time of gneva. There's only one time of gneva, when he stole it, when he took it from the guy's house. There was no gneva after that. It's not a twofold stage, because it happened by mistake. And Mimela now, how much would he have to pay? Here he's benefiting because there's no other choice. Here he has to pay 2, because in the only time of gneva, it was worth 2. I think you're 1 second. Yeah. You're next. What? These are not shitas. These are all applications in Rav. Yeah. This is all Rav and agreed by Rabbah. Rabbah combined. And we're not talking about kefel over here. Yeah. The kefel would be 4. The case number 3, the kefel would be 4. Yes. Very good. Absolutely. Thank you for the very nice note. I'm happy that I'm still recorded. In case number 3, when he only has to pay 2, yeah, right? Case number 3, the guy has to pay 2. It's, by the way, the only case here that he has to pay 2, if you noticed, right? You can circle it in red. But says Yaakov correctly that the kefel would have to be 4. Because, excuse me, no, the kefel has to be 4. Yes. Because the kefel is the current worth and the current value is 4. So he has to pay 2 and 4, which I think is 6, if I'm not mistaken. I'm there, on top of the game. Alan, what would you like to say?
Just about the accident on the accident,
Mm-hmm.
that he has to pay kefel, yes?
Kefel he always has to pay because he stole in the middle of the night 2 months ago. He's not paying kefel because he broke. That's not a reason for kefel. He owes kefel from the time when he stole it in the middle of the night, when he pulled it out of the guy's house, or not in the middle of the night, middle of the day. Yeah, that he has to pay kefel. Middle of the day, as long as people didn't see him. If he's a Goslin, he doesn't pay kefel. Baruch, and we really have to start the Shiur. Baruch, and then you. Baruch, and then you, and then you continue. Yes. The kefel is not in this chart. The kefel is in this chart. All 4 cases, the kefel has to be like the current situation, not like the previous one. Because kefel doesn't have xeris hakosov of gneva v'chaim. That's all. The only time kefel goes with the original is when he invested in the animal or he made it worse. That's a different story, which we're not talking about now. We're just in touch on kefel. By the way, this is a shorter version of the Hebrew chart. The Hebrew chart is much more detailed for the interested. If you want in Hebrew, you know what? I'll have it online today, Blineda. We have a very good uploader now, a lady, and she'll. I'll ask her to do both charts, Hebrew and English. The Hebrew has the sources and exceptions. There's another, by the way, big exception to the rule, which you. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Now we are in Samech Hey Amud Aleph, in the bottom of the page. Tani Rabbi Chanina, 3rd line from the bottom of the page. Tani Rabbi Chanina l'Siur l'Rav. Rabbi Chanina wants to help Rav. He wants to help Rav. What does he say? Look, there is a brayso that supports Rav. What did Rav say in general? You don't have to get confused now. Yeah, you can remember the chart, but even if you forgot the chart, all you have to know right now is one thing. What did Rav say? Rav said that the gneva itself, the basic keren, the principle, you pay like the original time, which you usually do, right? And then when it comes to kefel, you pay the current time. That's all. That's all you have to know for now. That's the basic Rav. Says the brayso as follows. And by the way, I told you to bring chomoshim. If anyone wants to bring a chomesh, that would be good. If not. Okay, I'll try and be slow. So before we continue, let me give you an introduction, which is very important. Yeah, the introduction is as follows. You know about Mr. Kefel. We've been, we've been good friends of Mr. Kefel for a long time. Yeah, made ourselves friends. Kefel has a cousin who's actually in a way the opposite of Kefel, and his name is chomesh ve'asham. Thank you very, very much, Yaakov. Mr. Chomesh ve'asham. What's chomesh ve'asham? Let's say a person stole and kept it in his house, or a person is a toyentinus ganav, which I call a verbal thief. Yeah, a person is a thief either physically or verbally. Thank you. I don't need. Thank you very much. So now, what do we say? He has to pay. Forget about kefel now. Let's say the person admitted the mistake. He admitted, yeah, I stole. Yes, I'm the toyentinus ganav. I swore to you l'sheker. But really now, by the way, it's not any ganav, only somebody who swore, was nishba l'sheker. A person swore l'sheker, and he said, you can already flip the pages if you want to the end of Parshas Vayikra. The end of Parshas Vayikra, that's the first weekly portion in the book of Leviticus. That's talking like a Jew. Yeah, so now we have the person who stole, or he actually, and was nishba, or 10 times going nishba, and he admitted his mistake. He admitted and he said, yeah, I was nishba l'sheker. Does he have to pay kefel if he admitted? No. You know what he does have to do? He has to bring chomesh ve'asham. What's chomesh ve'asham? He has to pay a 5th extra to the victim, and he has to bring a korban called asham. Yeah, that's a big ram that he has to bring to Beis Hamikdash as a korban kapara on the shvut sheker. Yeah, we'll see it later in the last psukim of Parshas Vayikra. Now comes the Torah and tells me as follows. What happens if Edim came? Let's say Edim caught him on the act, and they came to Beis Din, and they said that guy is a liar. We saw it in his backyard, and then he has to pay kefel. That's true, very nice. And he keeps denying them, and he says, "No, no, I'm clean. We don't believe him. Him against Edim is a joke. It's like him against the video camera or worse." But he does, so he does not pay chomesh v'asham. A person who denies what he did does not pay the korban. He does not pay is not the right word. Doesn't bring the korban. Only a person who admitted and said, "Yes, I did it." He admitted his sin. He is the one who has to bring chomesh v'asham. Now, one would say that's not fair. He admitted, so he has to pay more. The answer is that's a bit of a hashkafa shiur now. Korbanos are not about punishment. On the other hand, korbanos are kapor. It's a good thing. I'll ask you a very basic question of Jewish knowledge. If I turn on the light on Shabbos by mistake, I thought it was Sunday. Yeah, 25th of December. Very confusing. This Shabbos, I don't know what's that. Then he turned on the light. Yeah, he cut off the tree. So then he didn't know. Does he have to bring a korban if it's a mistake? Yes. And if he did it on purpose, does he bring a korban? No, because his sin is so bad that's beyond korban. So to bring a korban is a good thing. Korban also is your own cheshbon with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. If you admitted the fact that you stole and you're nishbal sheker, you bring a korban, that's a good thing. It's your own process with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Beis Din can maybe force you once you have the chiyuv. But the chiyuv starts from you. Or by hoida elav chatosa, it says he should be aware of his chatas and brings the chatas, and the same thing by Asham. Mashenken, if a person keeps saying, "No, I didn't steal it. They're lying. Yeah," he sticks to the ground. What? No. That's a dechod. There were two Edim finished. Two Edim against one is like it's like an army plane against the horse. Nothing. Two Edim against the person is a joke. Is a non-starter. However, if he did not admit, he does not bring a korban. His sin will remain upon him unless he brings the other Edim. But Lamaisa, we don't force a person to bring a korban unless he admitted it because he admitted that he did the shvuas sheker. Okay. Having said that, and that's all this introduction is very important for the hemshech. I kept telling you all the time, and I wasn't wrong, but in a way, now you see that I was. Let's say two Edim come, incriminate him, they saw it, and they were kosher Edim, the best Edim, not money can buy, the best Edim that there are. They said for sure that $5,000 were in the thing. We saw it 1,000,000%. They were tested, tried and tested, interrogated, and then he's a liar. Let's say afterwards he admits and he says, "Yes, the Edim are right. I did it because my mommy never gave me my favorite lollipop. It's not my fault, but I did do it." Yeah. So then, is there any value to his hoidah? We said no. He has to pay kefel kula alma because the Edim came. There is a value to his hoidah. What's the value? That he has to bring the Asham and chomesh. Why? Because chomesh v'asham is not in the court case. Chomesh v'asham is the person that admitted before or after Edim. The fact that he admitted that he did it is mechayvim chomesh v'asham. Because lamaisa there is value to it. To say it very balabatishly, unfortunately, every once in a while we hear about from people who do terrible things. Sometimes they admit after there are two bate dinim who saw that the guy's been with so many women and this, and then sometimes the person says, no, I didn't do it, and he runs away to, I don't know, to China. So I'm saying that's a story. The fact that the person admitted has value. So even though he's chayav kefel because the Edim already not framed him, incriminated him, but lamaisa regarding the korban, there's a difference. There's no question now. The korban be'etzem is there because the hoidah as of itself has its own value. That is chayav korban is doing tshuva to Hashem. And he has to bring the chomesh be'asham. Whenever I say korban, it's a pair together. It's a korban to Hashem, extra fifth to the victim. But that extra fifth, or actually fourth, we'll see, is really a kapora. It's not money that I pay as a knas, which is a court case, power struggle. It's a kapora, which is good for him, like you fast on Yom Kippur. That's chomesh v'asham. Is there any quick and very, very specific question? Yes, otherwise no. No, chatas is not in the thing. Yes. No, don't ask me if. Just no. Only if you admit it in front of people, then you bring the chomesh v'asham. No, I don't know. I don't know. Right, let's go. I'm not sure. Yeah. No, a chomesh is either a fifth or a fourth because chomesh could be either from the gav or milabar. We'll see that later. Kefel is double. Kefel is always double. Double of what is a different question. Kefel is double of the keren. How much the kefel, whether like now or like later? But kefel is always double x. X times. No, that's only tzvicha mechira. Not tzvicha mechira. We're not talking about tzvicha mechira. That's nothing to do with that. Tzvicha mechira has nothing to do with kefel or with the chomesh v'asham. Of course, avada. Of course. Soon you'll see a big surprise here with the math. No, not yet. We'll get to the chumash later. Tani Rabbi Chanina l'sio l'Rav. Rabbi Chanina wants to help Rav in saying what? Balabais sheton tan is ganav b'pikodon. Balabais here is a shomer. A shomer claimed that somebody stole from him a pikodon. It was the deposit, and he said it was stolen from me. Venishba, and he swore, and he was a sheker. Vehoido, and then he admitted, I lied. The whole thing was a lie. I was nishba l'sheker. Oy v'voy. Ubo Edim, and Edim came. Oh, now we see the race. Who came before who? Im ad shalobau Edim hoido. If he admitted before the Edim came, he admitted on Sunday, and the Edim came on Tuesday, let's say, and we follow Rav's opinion. He does not pay kefel, right? Rav says you don't pay kefel. Once you admitted, you're a good boy. You knew about the Edim. You didn't know about the Edim. Rav learned from the psukim. Hoido, you potter from kefel. But what do you pay? Well, you admitted. So if you admitted, mishalem, keren is the basic. The chomesh v'asham, extra fifth and an asham. That's like I told you. No news. You know it. Oh, let's say there were edim and then he admitted. So then he has to pay both. Mishalem teshlume kefel. Why? Because the edim came before you admitted. Kefel, that's it, mister. That's court. Kefel is cruel. Nothing to do with you and your process of tshuva with Hashem. Kefel because of the edim. Now, but because you were moide later on, and that admittance has value, your confession, the Asham, kefel v'Asham, the chum shoy, oiloloi bekfeloi. You have to pay chomesh, but because sometimes the kefel and the chomesh are the same price, you don't have to pay them both, because chomesh, which is a fifth, and double, which is twice as much, is exactly the same price, the same money. And therefore, that's what Rabbi Yaakov says. Diva Rabbi Yaakov. Everybody thinks that I'm crazy because I don't know math. Well, right? Well, I think it's good. If kefel and a fifth are the same, weiter. What? Oh, sometimes kefel and fifth are the same. And therefore, you don't have to pay double. Very good. Because sometimes it comes out funny enough, I don't know, that could be, that double the amount and the fifth of the amount or quarter are the same money, you don't have to pay both. In other words, one payment to Mr. Balabais, they both go to the same pocket, to the victim of the gneva, to the nignav. And therefore, you don't have to pay this and that, you pay two for the price of one. Yeah, now that's what Rabbi Yaakov says. The Chachamim disagree. Because he doesn't have to gain double. No, the nignav doesn't have to gain on him. Lamaisa, the nignav gets the kefel and he gets the chomesh. If they happen to be the same, we don't have to do this and that. Yes, sometimes they're worth the same. Of course, it's a question, how could that be? And that's what the Gemara is going to deal with. How could it be that kefel and chomesh are the same? Even if a teichtel knows that double is not a fifth. No, they're not separate payments because lamaisa, they both go to the nignav. Good question. How does the kefel and chomesh go together? The answer is because they're both lamaisa compensations to the nignav, and therefore he doesn't have to get double compensation. Okay, you can ask. I hear your taina. I could see otherwise, but that's what Rabbi Yaakov holds. The Chachamim oimrim, beroishoi. Oh, you can see the psukim if you want. Beroishoi, it says in the pasuk v'chamishisoi. It says there in the pasuk at the end of Parshas Vayikra. Here I'm flipping to Perek Hey. And we say over here, hey, at the end, yeah, it says here, in pasuk kaf dalet, three psukim from the end. Amikol asher shova olov l'sheker, anything that he is nishba l'sheker, v'shil mosoi beroishoi. What's beroishoi? The principle, the rosh, the head, the main parts, the main payment you have to pay. B'chamishisov Yosef olov, and you have to pay an extra fifth to what? To add the extra fifth to the rosh. What's the rosh? The principal, the basic payment. You stole 1,000 shekel, you have to pay 1,200, let's say, yeah, or a quarter. We'll see later, 1,250 maybe. For that, the chamish shisai, which means say chachamim. I'm back to the Gemara. Mammon hamishtalim berosh moisif chomesh. Money that is the rosh, which is the principal, the main part of the money. You have to add fifth to it. Mammon she'en yishtalim berosh en moisif chomesh. If you have money, which is what? Double, which is already kefel. Kefel is no chomesh, which means Chachamim say that kefel and chomesh at loggerheads. They cannot be together. In other words, whenever you have kefel, you don't have chomesh. And when you have chomesh, you don't have kefel. You either pay either or. Either you pay kefel because you're incriminated, the Edim came, and then even if you admit it later, you don't pay anything extra, or the Edim did not come, and you came with big tears to Beis Din, you admitted with no Edim, then you pay the chomesh and the Asham. It's either or. They're not a good relationship, the cousins, the kefel and chomesh, are two separate cheshbonos. That's what Chachamim say. Rabbi Shimon, what? It's not a knas because chomesh is not a knas. I'm tempted to say yes, but no, not really nice to you today. Knas is kefel, and that's what they say in article. No, chomesh is not a knas. Chomesh is a kapora. It's a kapora. And your question is good, Baruch, because mitzido it's not the same kind of payment. Kefel is knas and chomesh is kapora. They're not the same. They're right. That's what Chachamim say. They're never together. Right. They never cooperate. They never coexist. That's the word. Comes the third opinion. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai omer en chomesh v'oshom. Maybe I'll scream louder. V'oshom nishtalim b'mokem sheyesh kefel. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai agrees to Chachamim, but he adds one more factor. He says not only you don't have chomesh, you also don't have the korban. Remember, a person who admits big tears, he has to bring chomesh a fifth to the person, to the nignav, and he has to bring an Asham to Beis HaMikdash. Nobody eats it except for the Kohanim. Now comes who? Comes Rabbi Shimon Yochai says, once we have kefel, then together with kefel, chomesh and Asham don't coexist. Well, Chachamim say Asham, yes. Chachamim say if you pay kefel, and there's no chomesh, but there's Asham. The korban you may pay always whenever you're admitted. Yeah, but that's the only difference. Chachamim and Rabbi Shimon are the same, except for Asham. Chachamim say you always pay Asham when you're admitted, and Rabbi Shimon says no. When you have kefel, chomesh v'Asham are a pair. Chomesh v'Asham are inseparable. No chomesh, no Asham. That's very simple, Rabbi Shimon. Chachamim say no. Chomesh and on kefel, you don't have the two together, but Asham is always there when there's hoido. Tani miyas. One thing we all miyas means at the end of the day, let's extract the tachlis from the brisa. There's a very, very, very funny math over here. We say the fifth sometimes oiloloi happens to be the same sum, the same covers up for the kefel. Says Rabbi Yaakov, if chomesh and kefel are the same price, give one and one will cover both with your very good ha'ora. Echidami, what's the story? How can double and a fifth be the same? Excuse me. I mean, everybody knows that cannot be. Oh, you know the answer, right? There's fluctuation in price. Let me tell you the answer before you look at the Gemara. Let's say the prices of cars, whatever, goes up. There's inflation, which is not the case here, but Nagid. So beforehand, you could have bought two cars for 100,000 shekels, let's say. Now, for 100,000 shekels, you can only buy a fifth of one car. That could happen. Yeah, tomato, okay, tomato. Yeah, anything, right? Well, you could have bought two tomatoes. Now, 30 years ago, you could have bought two tomatoes for a certain amount of money. This amount of money now, you can only buy a fifth of the tomato. So here, when we talk about fluctuation in price, difference in price because of inflation, depreciation, propagation, all the differences in price, then what? Then really, you can have a situation of double and chomesh being the same, right? If you go along and the guy kept it enough time in his possession, so there's a difference in time between the gneva and the actual hamod bedin, when he stands in court and he admits or they're edim, well, there could be very strong differences in price, and sometimes a kefel of one time in history can be exactly the same as a fifth and the other time in history. So it's not bad math. 1 minute. Let's see first, and then I just gave you a general picture. If it was 4 and now 4, how could that be? If it was 4 when he stole and 4 when he's taken to court, then how can the fifth be a double? How could that be? Excuse me. Kefela arbo. The kefel is arbo, right? The kefel is 4. Let's say the thing was worth 4, right? And now is worth 4. Kefel is 4, right? 4 and 4 is 8. The chumsha zuza. And now the fifth is one zuz. Why is it one zuz? One zuz is a quarter. So why is it called a fifth? Because we say chomesh milebar. Chomesh milebar means sometimes fifth is not a fifth of the sum you have, but you take a sum that you add the entire sum plus x divided to 5 is chomesh. That's the formula. Sum plus x divided to 5 is what we want to have in the end. No, nothing. No, it was not depreciated here. No. Let's 1 second, please. How much is 100 divided to 4? It's 25. Divided to 5 is 20. Yes. Okay. 125 divided by 5 is how much? 25. 125 divided to 5 is 25. Oh, so really the chomesh of 100 is 25. If you take the x, the segment, the fraction, and add it to the whole, then you make the cheshbon divided to 5. That's chomesh. In simple language, it's called quarter. For a change, I know what I'm talking about, even though it's numbers. Because sometimes the Torah learns that shlish or chomesh or reva is milabal. Is take it out of the formula, take the quarter out and add it to the whole amount. The whole thing together would be a fifth. I told you, the numbers, I proved to you, 25, yeah? 25 is a quarter of 100, add it to the hundreds, divide it to 5, and that's what. The kids say chomesh sometimes is really quarter. Let's just accept it for now. Why is that a chacham? You look at it, I don't know. Well, that's one more question I have to ask myself today. But it's been a question already before. Shlish, milgav, milabal.
5,000 plus the other 5,000. It's not a quarter.
Lo meshane. So no. Let's just accept the quarter.
Using the word quarter as a
Happens to be a quarter of it. Very good. The kid says it's a fifth milgav. It's a kind of fifth. But you do agree, Ellen, that double and fifth cannot be the same if the numbers didn't change. Elalav must be, here comes the trumpet, the drum roll. Elalav, the mikore must be, in order to make the math work, we must say that Rav is right. The mikore shavye arbo. Originally, it was worth 4. Well, basof shavye zuza. And now it's only worth a quarter. Yeah, it went down in price. It plummeted. The market in the world, COVID. It was 4, and now it's worth a quarter. The actual object, whatever that is, the wine. The kefela zuza. Kefel you have to pay like now. Kefel says Rav is our man, which we're supporting now. A kefel you pay like now. And now in Kislev, now it's 1 zuz. It's kefela. The chumshe zuza. And if you go by the chomesh of course goes like the keren, because chomesh is not double. Chomesh is always sticking to the keren. And how much do I pay the keren? Like 2 months ago, like when it was worth 4. Very good. A fifth of 4 in our math is 1, is a quarter. So you see, voila, what a magic. Look, only according to Rav, that can work. A few months ago when he stole it, it was worth 4. Therefore, what do we say? That the chomesh, which we follow like the original time, is only 1, a quarter, fifth/quarter. Now we really went down in price. Now we went down to 4. The real price in the market is 1 only, and double of 1 is 1. So you see, hey, look how nice. Now kefel and chomesh are the same, and it only works according to Rav. Alma, that is to say, says the Gemara, Keren Kain Shagonav. You see, Rav is right. From a brayse, what can be better for an Amoira to have a brayse supporting him? Keren Kain Shagonav. The Keren goes according to the original Gneva, and so is the chomesh. You see, the kefel works like now, and that's the only way to have chomesh and double being the same. You still have your question? We're talking about this number. You can make a nukimta. Of course, it's a nukimta. Lo meshane, but that's be'etzim it's shaykh. But it's shaykh to have such a case, and it only works according to Rav. You want to throw Rav out the window, then he's not going to have any case. Omar Rove says no. Rove comes to ruin the party. Rove is the party spoiler. Why? Rove says no. I have another solution to explain the Braisa, not like Rav, without Rav's interesting math of past versus present. Omar Rove. No, I would argue on Rav, and I would say like this: could be there was worth 4 before, and it's worth 4 now. You're asking how could that be? A kefel is worth 4, And if it stays 4, then the chomesh, which is the quarter really, is 1 zuz. 4 is not equal 1. You know that akivat achtel, 4 is not equal 1. So how could you say here that they're the same? Answers Rove. Hocha b'may askinan. What's hey base ayin? Hocha b'may askinan. What is the story over here? What's ukimta? Listen to this wild story. And that's halacha in the Rambam. Kegon shenishba v'chozer v'nishba arba pe'omim v'hoidov. Voila. This person actually made shvua 4 times over, and every time he admitted it. The guy needs a psychiatrist urgently, but he's normal enough to be in Beis Din v'chulei. So look what happened. Really, the double is 4, and everything is 4. And really, the chomesh is only 1. But you know what it did? He once went to Beis Din. By the way, I'm telling you now something which I saw in the Mefolshim of the Rambam a few days ago. This is a bit of homework on my side. Baruch Hashem. He went to the Beis Din in Bet Shemesh, and he cried, and then he swore l'sheker, and then he admitted. Yeah, but he didn't yet pay the guy. The guy says, "You admitted, pay me." He says, "No, see you in court in Tel Aviv." He went to Tel Aviv and repeated the same game. They don't know about the Beis Din in Bet Shemesh. They didn't keep the records. That's Badatz and that's Tel Aviv Beis Din. So now what? He again played the same game. Then he went to Beis Din in Ashkelon. And then he went to Beis Din in, not Dimona, that's too close. He went to Nahariya. He went to different Bate Dinim, every time playing the game, literally dragging through the courts. 4 times he played the game of what? Of swearing l'sheker and then admitting oy oy oy. So Mimela, he accumulated the debt of 4 chomshim. He has to pay 1 keren, and on each shvua and each hoidah, he has to pay a fifth or a quarter. Quarter times 4, you don't know that, is 1. You know that? 4 quarters is 1. It's very chashuv. And therefore, very good. And if the whole thing was worth 4, if the original price was 4 and it's still 4, Mimela, every time he owes a quarter of a 4, which is 1. So he owes 1 Bet Shemesh, 1 Tel Aviv, 1 Ashkelon, 1 Nahariya, 4. Mimela, he owes 4 chomshim, which happen to be equivalent to kefel. Kefel remains the same. Kefel is kefel. Once the Edim came and called his bluff, kefel is kefel. But the hoidah and the chomesh business can happen 4 times over. Mimela, I know it's a weird case, but first of all, it can happen. People try the luck in different Bate Dinim. And secondly, it's an ukimta that means that maybe Rav is right, but don't tell me anymore, says Rava, that Rav is the only one that can sort out the brisa for us. We have another way of explaining it, another ukimta of 4, which is really 1 times 4, plus the 4 of the double of the kefel. How do you know that he's chayv for many times? Maybe he's chayv only once. Maybe he lied 4 times, he was only chayv once. But the Torah says, if you read carefully the pasuk I read to you at the end of Vayikra, doesn't say chamishito. Chamishitav means the 5th with an S at the end is plural. The person can pay 1 keren with many choimshim, and that's the story over here, possibly. Yeah, this is how chomesh and kefel are the same. So at the end of the day, he admitted 1, 2, 3, 4, and also has to pay 4. Says Rabbi Yaakov, he only has to pay 1 set of 4. Yes, there's a mivtza in Rami Levi. There's a mivtza in Bavakam Samecher and Beis for the Ganav. He owes kefel and he owes chomesh times 4. He only has to pay one set of 4. 4 he has to pay. Omar Mar, I understand your problem with it, Baruch. I appreciate it, but that's for now. That's what we have. Okay, you can ask a quick question now. We're about to enter somewhere. Yes. What? Yeah, I'm listening. Weiter. Omar Mar. Now we're talking now about the difference between Chachamim and Rab Shimon. We dealt with Rabbi Yaakov. That's the first opinion, and he says you have to pay both kefel and chomesh, but if they're the same price, they cover up for each other. Now we talk about the 2 other opinions. Let's refresh our memories. What did we say in Tanakama? Not Tanakama, middle Kama. Yeah, Tana Metziasa. What did we say in Chachamim? You don't pay kefel and chomesh together ever. It's either chomesh or kefel, either or. But Asham you pay. If you admitted, and therefore you have to pay chomesh, you pay Asham. Sometimes you pay kefel because the Edim came, and then you admitted. That's enough kamina. You pay kefel because the Edim came. Then you admitted with big tears, and then what? You have to pay what? No chomesh. But Asham you do. But Asham you do according to Chachamim. Rab Shimon says no. Rab Shimon says no chomesh, no Asham. Rab Shimon says chomesh v'Asham, hand to glove, glove to hand, all they're together. No chomesh, no Asham, yes chomesh, yes Asham. They're never inseparable. The Chachamim say no. Sometimes you have Asham without the chomesh. If you pay kefel, there's no chomesh, no double payment in a different way. Yeah. Mashenka and Asham, you sometimes have when you admit it. You have Asham. Omama. Let's now explain and go deep into what they say. The Chachamim oimrim beroishoy bechamishisoy. Rosh, the principal you pay fifth on. Maman mishtalim berosh moisif chomesh. When you have the actual original amount of money, the basic sum you pay chomesh. Ava momesh en mishtalim berosh. If you have kefel and moisif chomesh. Once you have money which is not the rosh, which is double, which is like the extra, then you don't add the chomesh. Aval Asham I see. But Asham you bring, Asham you still bring. Frag the Gemara, why? Why don't you pay chomesh? It says, now I highly advise look at the chumash inside. Everyone, please look in the chumash if you don't mind. It says, he swore b'sheker, you pay the basic amount plus chomesh. Go to the next pasuk chafei. You have to bring an aisle together with the chomesh, together with the basic amount. Asham is like tagging along. Asham is together with the chomesh. You bring it to Hashem. What do you bring? You bring a ram, a tamim, a full good one. Okay, end of story. So excuse me, Chachamim, who told you to separate between chomesh and Asham? Right? Why? Look at the question of the Gemara. Only the basic amount, the chamishisoy, a fifth is only added to the basic amount. Asham nami lo mishalim. So Asham should not be paid either if it's not the basic amount. There's a shamoy. It says Asham also. Asham is also part of the party. So Mimela, why is Asham excluded? And you pay him even if you pay the double, even if you pay kefel. They both mentioned in the psukim. Just because it's one pasuk later, who cares? Amil Rabbanan have an answer. They say es paske kro at the beginning of pasuk chafei, verse 25. Yeah, the es ashamoy. Why does it say the es ashamoy? It could say the ashamoy. What's the s? There's no translation in English for the word et because it doesn't exist in English. Yeah, the s, the word s, is coming to separate. No, but paske, first was not sometimes, it's mafsik. You're not listening. It says, look in the psukim, not vav, the s. S is an extra word, which is in modern Hebrew would be tavili etzeh, the etzeh is like a whole new beginning. It's a semi-new beginning to the sentence. Take that from me, okay? Hebrew diktuk is not my math. Okay? When you say tenli et akola, the etzeh, it's like a whole, it's a separating a bit as a new item in the list, which is a bit separate. That's exactly what's happening over here. Because the word the S, what? Yeah, look, it says Ve'es Hashamoy. Chafei. What's a chafei? It starts with the Es Hashamoy. This whole extra word. You should say Ve'ashamoy. The Es Hashamoy means no. Asham is a bit of an autonomy over here. It's a separate story. The Asham is brought regardless to the rest of them. Asham is brought always when he admits, even if there's kefel. Now, that's Chachamim. Ooh. I frag the Gemara. Now the ping pong goes to, it's not a long ping pong game now. Now the ball is at the court of who? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Let's go to Meron. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, what does he say? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, no, that Asham and chomesh are inseparable. They're together. It says et. Don't you see the word et glaring at you in the middle and showing you that it's a separate unit? Says Rabbi Shimon, the. Maybe that's what he meant, Baruch. The. Ace, the word vav, the letter vav, alveikro. Because there's a letter of vav, the vav comes to include and. The word vav, which is the vav achibu, which connects, like a vav, by the way, which is the hook, which connects. That's maybe what you were saying. That connects them together, and it shows that chomesh v'asham are inseparable. The Rabbanan, ping pong. What do Rabbanan say? Rabbanan, you say asham and chomesh are separate. Chomesh is not always brought, and asham is always brought. Oh, why? It says that. Rabbanan say a genius thing. If you think that they're connected, why do you have to write S in order to exclude, to separate, to cut off, and then Vav to tie them together? stupid. Would I take Chasshal? Not stupid, but they say that. Would you actually cut your shirt and then restitch it? Unless you're teaching kids how to sew, mapitom, leave it as it is. Why does it have to separate with ace and then reconnect with vav? Therefore, we don't believe that really the vav is connecting. We believe the ace is more powerful here. And really, ace is the name of the game because you see that it's still all separate unit. I, Rab Shimon Yochai, Rakrega Tzavakasha. Rab Shimon ben Yochai, what would he say to that? Es loy sagia deloy kosav. Says Rab Shimon, no, you can't miss the word es. I have what to do with the word es. You know what that is? Lafsuki ben moment gavoa lemoment hediot. Says Rab Shimon a whole new story. Es is not teaching me anything halachic, but it teaches me something hashkafik with musar. Because the chomesh goes to who? Chomesh goes to a lowly, regular person. Well, no Jew is lowly. So regular hediot. The Asham goes to an ebishte, gavoa. You can't mention them together. You can't pay, okay, that's my shopping list. This and that, to Hashem and to the person. That's not mechubad, not kovadik. You don't say to the person and Hashem. They're not together. No, that's what the Torah, for hashkafic reasons, had to put the word es as a separation for hashkafic reasons. Mimela now it has to restitch it and write the word vav. But once it wrote the word vav, it is connected. And Reb Shimon still holds that halachically the vav overcomes because it comes to connect Asham and chomesh. Hilkach also vav arbe kro. The vav came and arbe mixed them together. The chomesh Asham to be together. But chachamim probably don't believe in this whole hashkafic idea. They don't think that Ace is coming to tell me a hashkafic idea to separate between Elokim and Adam. Ace is coming to separate halachically. It's a halachic separation. What does it say? Vav agutakasha loch patli. The word es lamais is written to separate between the chomesh and the osham. Let's summarize. According to Chachamim, if the person admitted after the Edim came, the Edim already came, he has to pay kefel. Then he admits, big tears in front of the camera, and what? He's admitting. What does he have to bring? Beautiful. Asham, yes, no, chomesh. Because if you bring kefel, you don't bring chomesh. They are like at loggerheads, never together. Not like Rabbi Yaakov that they're paid. Right, or they don't coexist, either or. Yeah. Now, Reb Shimon says no. Reb Shimon says if you don't pay kefel, and you do pay chomesh, you pay Asham. If you do pay kefel, no chomesh, no Asham. Reb Shimon says chomesh and Asham are together always because of the psukim we just explained. Very good. What do you mean 3 options? Very good. Either you only pay kefel, you never admitted. The guy never admitted. The guy sticks to his gun. I did not steal. I did not gun. Then what? He pays kefel. No chomesh v'asham. You can't force him. He says, no, I didn't do it. I'm not going to say shalom b'ganu. And Yom Kippur, I never say to Hashem, b'chalti chazir. I never ate chazir in my life. What do you want from me? I don't think I ate chazir. I don't want to say I ate chazir. No, I didn't. No point to bringing a korban. It's not part of his own personal journey. That's one. Very good. The second case is Edim came. You pay kefel and you admit it. Then what happens? There you have 3 machlokesim. You have 3 opinions. What happens if there were Edim and then you admit it? According to Rabbi Yaakov, you have to pay kefel of the Edim and chomesh because you admitted. How you pay it? They sometimes cancel each other out. You have a mivtzah 2 for the price of 1. They conceptually have to pay both. Chachamim say no, you don't pay both. If you pay kefel, there's no chomesh, but there's Asham. Reb Shimon says if there's kefel, no chomesh, no Asham. What's the third case? If you admitted and the Edim never came. You admitted, then what? You obviously have to pay lekula alma chomesh v'Asham, and you don't pay kefel. Thank you very much. We didn't get to the hard part. Sunday hard part. Hashem. Baruch, want to hear a question. Thank you very much. Have a terrific day.